What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Powerhouse Mentality Facebook group training. Today, the topic is the pillars of earning results. With a little bit of a side note, it's more simple than you think. Now, before I get into my rant, let me go ahead and bring up the comments so I can actually see what y'all are saying to me. And if you guys have any questions, as always, I want you to drop those questions down below in the comments, because if we get some questions, then that's even more valuable to those who are watching this on replay. And usually if you have a question, that means that somebody else has the same question and is too afraid to ask. So if you have any questions that come up during the course of this video, please go ahead and drop them down below in the comments. Whether it pertains to the topic or not, I want to be able to answer you guys, your guys' question. But let's get into it. So the pillars of earning results. Now, when I'm talking about earning results, I'm talking specifically when it comes to health and fitness. So if your goal is to become a healthier, better version of yourself in any way, shape, or form, if you want to lose body fat, if you want to gain lean muscle, improve your performance, improve your longevity, this is all going to pertain to you, which is every single human being who's in this group. Because you guys aren't not in the Powerhouse Mentality Facebook group because you want to be mediocre, or you want to be average, or you don't want to get better in some way, shape, or form. And health is the foundation of your success. If you are successful in your life, in your career, with your family life, if you make a lot of money, I bet that if your health was better, you could make even more money. You could be even more successful because you'll have more energy, more focus, less brain fog. You'll feel like less shit all the time. So when it comes to the pillars of earning results, so many people want to overcomplicate the process, and I understand it. If you go on social media, all you're going to see is a bunch of shit of overcomplicated things, fear-mongering, and there's just so much information out there, and it's almost like information overload, where you don't even know where to start, you don't know what to trust, you don't know what to believe, you don't know what's true and what's not true. And then you almost find yourself in this like paralysis by analysis situation where there's so much information that you just don't take action at all because you're so fucking confused on what to do. So I'm going to break it down for you guys to make it as simple as possible, because the best way to earn results is to keep things simple. Complexity is the enemy of success. So the more complicated that you make something, the less likely that you are to stick with it. And it doesn't matter how great something is, if you aren't going to be able to do it consistently, then it doesn't matter. Consistency truly is the key to anything. So what I want to talk about today is the pillars, right? So when you're building a house and you have pillars, they're going to keep the house standing. You have a strong, sturdy foundation. It's going to keep the house standing. You can't add in all these fancy things like the marble countertops or the pretty bathrooms until you have the foundation set. So if you ignore the foundation or the pillars, then you're not going to actually be able to get the fancy shit, right? So the way I like to look at these pillars is I like to look at them as big rocks, all right? So if you were to throw a rock into a lake or a body of water, right, that rock is going to create ripples. And if the rock is bigger, it will create more ripples that will travel further and make a bigger impact on the water. If you throw a pebble, it's going to have such a small impact and the ripples aren't going to travel very far. So too many people are literally stepping over these big rocks in order to pick up little pebbles that barely make a splash. So what actually matters, and what are these big rocks that make this huge splash or this huge impact on your results? We have calories, protein, resistance training, sleep, water, and movement. And all 6 of these things are things that you've heard a million times. A million times, probably more than a million times. And how many of you have thought about this and said, no, it has to be more complicated than that. It can't be that simple. But I'm here to tell you, it's that fucking simple. The thing that people miss on the most is doing these things consistently and doing these things correctly. For example, when you're focusing on calories, are you actually weighing and tracking your food, and not just weighing and tracking your food, but doing it every single day and doing it with everything that you're eating? For example, if you put creamer in your coffee, are you tracking the creamer? If you go into the cabinet at night and you have a tablespoon of peanut butter, are you actually taking out your food scale, weighing out the tablespoon of peanut butter, and then tracking that in your food diary for the day to make sure that you're accurate with your numbers? Because a lot of people don't. They say, oh, it doesn't matter. It's just a bite. It's just a spoonful. It's just a little bit of sauce. It's just a couple of fries off my kid's plate. But that shit adds up. And if you're going 200, 300, 400, 500 calories over on your calories every day because of these little things that don't matter, you're putting yourself out of a calorie deficit, and your goal to lose body fat will not happen. So again, calories, protein, resistance training, sleep, water, movement, the simple things that people know work, but they think it needs to be more complicated because they're unwilling to be consistent and do these things correctly. Now, realize that when I said these 6 big rocks, I didn't say a specific diet like keto or carnivore. I didn't say intermittent fasting or nutrient timing. I didn't say a specific food. I didn't mention any sort of supplements. I didn't talk about a cold plunge or sauna. I didn't talk about cutting out carbs, and I think you kind of get the point, right? Those things can be beneficial, but let's think about it like this. If you're doing a sauna every single day because you heard that saunas have an incredible benefit for mental health and cognitive health, which is true. Sauna every single day has been shown for improvements in brain health, which is great, right? Because when something improves your brain health, it's going to improve your heart health, and it's going to improve your overall health. However, if you're going into the sauna every single day because you've heard of those benefits, and you're 30 pounds overweight, and your diet is shit because you're eating a lot of fast food or processed foods, you're barely eating any protein, you're barely eating fruits and vegetables, you're not eating any sort of whole foods, really, you're not training consistently, or your sleep is shit, it's not going to do anything. That's just like, hey, you can ask me what the best supplement is for you, and if you take a greens powder, and if you take a micro nutrient pack, those things are fucking great. However, if your diet is crap, and your training is inconsistent, and your sleep is terrible, then those things aren't going to matter. Because the big rocks are the things that develop and determine your results. So let's get into each and every one of them just a little bit, because again, simplicity is key and complexity is the enemy of success. So I don't want to overcomplicate this. And I want to keep this training super simple, sexy, straight to the point, because I know that those things are what you guys vibe with the most, and you're more willing to take action on something that's simple, sexy, and straight to the point. So, calories. When it comes to calories, we're talking about calorie management. So if your goal is fat loss, then you need to be in a calorie deficit, meaning you need to be eating less food or less calories than you're burning. Just science. Now, when it comes to a calorie deficit, the mistake that most people make is that they hear, I need to eat less, so I'll just restrict myself so much to the point where I'm starving. That's not sustainable. And that's where most people fail. They can sustain this extreme restriction for 2 or 3 weeks, and then they binge and they say, I guess this health and fitness thing ain't for me because I can't do it. It's too hard. No, you've been doing it wrong. Stop overly restricting yourself. The way that I like to look at it and that I teach it to my clients is instead of restriction, I'm teaching addition, because mentally that works better. So I'm going to tell you to add more whole foods. I'm going to tell you to add more fruits and veggies, add more fiber, add more protein. And when you add more of the good stuff, naturally you will eat less of the bad stuff because you're more satiated, you're feeling more energized, you're craving the good stuff more, and you're craving how good they make you feel, both physically and mentally. So if you're somebody who you're trying to lose body fat, you have no idea where to start, here's a general guideline that you can use. You take the number 12 and you multiply it by your goal body weight. and then you can hit that number of calories or aim to be around that. I like to always go with a calorie range because there's no one number that's going to be perfect for you. If you're within 100 calories up or down of the number, that's going to work and you're going to see results. So why overcomplicate it? Now, say your goal weight is 150 pounds. You would just take 12, multiply it by 150, you'd get 1,800. So your goal would be to get between 1,700 and 1,900 calories on a consistent basis. And if you can do that, you're going to start to see results. And if you don't see results, then okay, we can reduce calories a little bit. Or what most people need to do in that situation is go into a reverse diet, build muscle, improve their metabolism so that they're burning more calories at rest. Because if you're putting on muscle, you're putting money in the bank for when you get older, all right? The second thing is protein intake. Now, protein is the building blocks of muscle. And muscle is the secret to fat loss, performance, and longevity. Longevity, meaning the more muscle that you have, it's been shown to prevent chronic illness. And I think that a lot of people just think about muscle and they think of aesthetics and performance and strength. They don't really think about the health benefits of muscle, but muscle has been called the organ of longevity because it actually helps to prevent chronic illness and helps you age better. So think about it like that. Collagen, if collagen is trending right now, and collagen is a protein found in our skin, our nails, our hair, our tendons, our joints. So people are obsessed with collagen right now because it's helpful for your skin, hair, nails. It's protein. So not only is protein going to help you build muscle, which again is the secret to fat loss, because the more muscle you have, the more calories you're going to burn just doing nothing. And if you can burn more calories, that's going to help to combat the sedentary lifestyle that most of us live. Like even if you're going to the gym every single day and you're sitting at your desk for the rest of the day and you're driving home, sitting on the couch, you have a sedentary life, right? I train 3 hours a day. But outside of that, I mean, I have a standing desk, but outside of that, like I'm sitting on my ass all day working with my clients on phone calls. So I'm active during my training, but I'm sedentary during my life. So what you have to think about when it comes to building muscle is that you're not going to get big and bulky. Believe me, I've tried. It doesn't work. So with protein, here's where you want to start. All right, you know the calorie range that you're going to go with. So I want you to focus on protein next. 1 pound or 1 gram per pound of your goal body weight. So again, if your goal body weight is 150, aim for 150 grams of protein. And the easy way to do this is to just break it down. So if you have 3 meals a day, that would be 50 grams of protein that you want to get in at each meal to hit that 150. If you're doing 5 meals a day, and when I say meals, I'm including snacks because snacks are just, they're meals. If you're doing 5 feedings a day, all right, makes you sound like an animal, 5 feedings a day, then you want to do 30 grams of protein per meal. And I find that this works better for most people because most people eating 50 grams of protein in one sitting is tough, especially at first because protein is extremely satiating. So I highly recommend that you do 5 meals or 5 feedings a day, aiming for break down whatever number of protein that you need per meal based on your overall goal. And that could look like, hey, I'm having like breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then I'm having a protein shake and, some Greek yogurt or another snack in there. Now, protein is super satiating, but give it time because at first you're going to feel really fucking full and you're going to think that you can't do this. But I promise you that your body is an incredible adaptation machine and it's unbelievable how it will adapt to things that you throw at it. So if you start eating more protein, it'll take a little bit of time, maybe like a week or two for your body to start to adapt, but eventually you will feel good and you will love how you start to look. All right. Different types of protein, poultry, beef, fish, whey protein, making sure that it's a high quality. And like I said, you don't need supplements to see results, but if a supplement is helping you to actually hit the big rocks, then a supplement is beneficial for you. And the reality is, it's tough to eat a lot of protein. What I'll do for you guys is I'll put down below in the comments the protein powder that I use and recommend to my clients because it's a high quality whey protein and it tastes fucking delicious. Most protein powders don't taste good. They're gritty and they make your stomach feel like a chemical lab, which is not helpful at all. So I'll put that down below. I use it for Ninja Creamies, oatmeal. I have it post-workout. Really beneficial if you struggle to hit your protein goal. Other things outside of that, so poultry, beef, fish, whey protein, eggs, some dairies like Greek yogurt or cottage cheese are great protein sources. Now, resistance training is number 3. And the biggest mistake that I see people make, or that I've heard so often over my career in fitness, is that I will lift weights once I lose weight. No. Don't do that. Because if you go into your weight loss journey with the idea that I'm just going to burn my body fat off through cardio, then you're setting yourself up for failure. If cardio is going to be the sole core focus of your fat loss goal, then you will fail. Because your body adapts to cardio. So your body will adapt to the calorie burn and will slow down your metabolism to become more efficient at that activity, which is why it's so important for strength training to be the main focus of your programming and making sure that it is properly programmed strength training, not just some random fucking workout that you threw together because it's what felt good or some random workout that you found on Instagram. You need a proper resistance training program that focuses on pushing your body, that focuses on also recovering, and also focuses on progressive overload, which means that we're getting stronger each and every workout or changing some sort of variable. And the reason why this is so important is because if you build muscle, which is what strength training does, then you will, like I said earlier, be putting money in the bank for later in life because you're going to be burning more calories at rest, speeding up your metabolism, and making fat loss much more sustainable and easier. Make it easier for yourself. Don't chase a calorie burn through cardio. Teach your body how to manually burn more calories on its own through resistance training. All right? So focus with resistance training. You can start with 3 to 6 times a week is the sweet spot for most people. If you're doing nothing now, then start with 1 to 2 days a week and you can build upon that. All right? If you have any questions when it comes to resistance training or you need help with individualized programming, I offer that. Talk to me. I am here to help you. All right, number 4, sleep. Recovery drives results. And sleep impacts everything. Sleep impacts your habits, your behaviors, your mood, your energy, your focus, your inflammation, hormones, even your cravings and your hunger levels. So think that if you're constantly getting poor quality of sleep, how that's impacting your ability to stay on track with your nutrition. Because you're hungrier, you have more cravings, and you're craving things, you're not going to be craving chicken and broccoli after a poor night of sleep. You're probably craving like cookies because your body wants that quick energy from glucose because it's so deprived and so tired. One of the biggest mistakes outside of the resistance training thing that I see people make is putting sleep on the back burner. Like, if you're waking up early to do fasted cardio and you could be getting an extra hour of sleep instead of doing that fasted cardio, you're literally stepping over pennies. I'm sorry, you're stepping over $100 bills to pick up pennies. Don't step over those $100 bills. Pick those motherfuckers up. You want those. Sleep are $100 bills. And if you do everything else right, if your nutrition is great, if your resistance training is consistent, but you're not sleeping, you will be limited to the results that you can see. While we sleep, our body produces growth hormone, testosterone, and these things help with muscle growth and they help with recovery. If you're not recovering, you will not see results. Period. End of story. Now, the last 2 things, movement and water, let's talk about them. Water, very simple. We know that our body is like 60 to 70% water. We have all heard that statistic at some point in our life. Now, a hydrated cell or a hydrated muscle are both a happy cell and a happy muscle, meaning that your muscle can properly relax and contract when it's hydrated properly. The cells can properly work, meaning the mitochondria is going to be able to produce efficient energy. You're going to be able to detox the body, burn body fat, build muscle. All of these things require water to happen. So if you're not hydrating yourself properly, because water is boring and I don't want to drink it, or I have to pee all the time, get over that. Your body, again, adapts. And water is one of the biggest things one of the easiest things that you can do in order to move the needle with your results. Okay? Last thing is movement. So movement outside of resistance training, I'm talking about movement just like in life. So a lot of people want to focus on a step goal. And if you want to focus on a step goal, that's cool. I highly recommend getting between 7,500 and 10,000 steps a day. The reason for that is because research has shown that that is like a good range or a good number to help prevent mortality. Now, everybody's going to be different. Some people, they've been moving 15,000 steps every single day for 5 years, and their body has adapted to that, right? So if you want to see results, then you need to increase that a little bit. But remember, it's better to teach your body how to burn more calories on its own through resistance training. Movement is just a supplement to that. And movement just makes you feel good, makes your joints feel good. If you're sitting at a desk all day, then you're usually stiff, you don't feel right. So movement is just like, hey, throughout your day, just make it a point to just move, right? Park further away at the grocery store. Take the stairs. Simple things that we all know. And the way that I like to really focus on it with my clients is like, hey, let's aim for like 30 minutes of walking each and every day. And the best, easiest way to fit this into your day is after breakfast, walk for 10 minutes. After lunch, walk for 10 minutes. And after dinner, you guessed it, walk for 10 minutes. Because a couple things. One, it's been shown to help with blood sugar regulation. 2, it helps with digestion. 3, it's good for your mental health. And 4, it gets more movement in throughout the day and makes it so much easier than saying, hey, I'm just going to go on a long 30-minute walk. Some people just don't have time for that in their life, or they don't want to make time for it. So you got to do what's sustainable for you. Now, that's really the gist of today's topic. Again, I don't want to overcomplicate things for you guys. I want to keep things as simple and straightforward as possible, because I know as a coach that when things are straightforward, they're simple, they're easy to follow, you're more likely to do them and more likely to do them consistently. So if you're somebody who's struggling with finding consistency, stop looking for the next big thing and start just fucking doing the hard work on these 6 things. Calories, protein, resistance training, sleep, water, and movement. If you guys ever need anything, if you have any questions, drop them down in the comments below. Send me an email, send me a message on Instagram. I'm always here to help. But other than that, guys, go out, make it a great day, and do one thing that's going to take you one step closer to where you want to be.